Listen up, Lucas, get it straight. You're the son of a housekeeper. What right do you have to even sit in my car? Get out now. A spoiled brat of a girl stuck out her foot and kicked me out of the vehicle. She then waved her hand grandly, signaling her two best friends to hurry up and climb in. 10 yards away, the two friends caught the signal and immediately trotted past me. The tall one, Chloe, glanced at me with disdain as she passed. The other, Jenny, who was well endowed, always seemed to be bouncing, making it impossible not to stare for a second too long. So, as she walked past me, I made the mistake every man makes. One look, and Jenny's hand slapped me across the face without hesitation. She pulled her hand back. Bum, what are you looking at? I cover my face. Wearing that little isn't just to get looked at? Do you really expect us guys not to look? You'll probably spend all night thinking about whether you should get more silicone tonight. Chloe, who had already plopped into the back seat, yanked Jenny's arm, and the door slammed shut instantly. Driver go. The engine revved, and the car vanished from my sight in a flash. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully role-playing the 97th plot scenario. Mission completion, 97%. 97? Looks like my rough patch is finally ending. The good times are just around the corner. I'm an ice sky transplant. I woke up in the body of a billionaire's only son, someone who should have had the perfect life. But the trash author, to satisfy some weird fantasy, made the original host's parents die and hired a housekeeper in her 20s who conveniently had a kid to fill the role. Naturally, this housekeeper miraculously managed to turn herself and her daughter into the owners of the mansion, forcing the original me to do housework and take care of them daily. What's even more ridiculous is that in a few days, the housekeeper's daughter was supposed to make the original me sign over the entire multi-billion-dollar fortune to her, no strings attached. I thought that after transmigrating, I could rewrite everything, kick the housekeeper and her daughter out, then pursue the campus queen and ride my way to the top. Surprise! I came with a system. Unlike other systems, mine is a plot system. Simply put, I must follow the original story's trajectory, violate the plot, and the system punishes me severely. I try to fight the system once, but eventually I just resign myself to lying flat and accepting fate. Ding! Isabella Reed is about to host her birthday gala. Plot scenario 98 is triggered. Host, hurry and get over there to serve her and her crew. Ugh, guess I'm destined to be a drone. I pulled out my phone and ordered an Uber back to the mansion. The second I stepped out of the car, the male butler, Richard, came out holding a basin of foot-washing water and promptly dumped it right where I was about to step. I sidestepped quickly. Richard, if your eyes don't work, donate them. Don't waste nutrients keeping them attached to your face. Richard placed the basin behind him. Oh, you, a third-tier servant, dare to act high and mighty in front of me. A first-tier servant? You think I can't get you thrown out with one word to the young miss? Richard put his hands on his hips, beaming with the arrogance of his superior rank. Honestly, I still don't get it. In his eyes, we're both just staff, so why does he always enjoy framing me? Shouldn't we be helping each other escape this servant destiny? I stepped forward. You dog relying on his master's power. Take this. However, just as I raised my hand to strike, Isabella Reed suddenly walked out of the house. Stop right there, Lucas. Are you staging a coup? My movement froze. I turned to see the furious Isabella marching toward me. The moment she got close to Richard, he dramatically collapsed into her arms. He spoke in a soft voice. Miss, I was just about to take your foot-washing water out to water the prize roses, but Lucas suddenly thought your foot-washing water wasn't good enough for the flowers and deliberately knocked it over. A million angry beasts roared through my head. If the system wasn't restraining me, I'd beat this effeminate man senseless right now. But after comforting Richard, Isabella immediately rushed over to me, grabbed me, and pointed toward the fruit cart nearby. Lucas, you're clearly not busy enough. The fruit in the kitchen hasn't been washed yet. Go now and wash every single piece until it sparkles. Ding! Plot scenario 98, scene 1, has appeared. Host, please make a choice. Choice 1. Reply. I'll go right away. As long as I can be by your side, I'll do anything. Reward, $1 million. Choice 2. Hurl a harsh refusal at Isabella Reed. Reward, zeroed out, plus 3 minutes of physical electroshock therapy. It's clearly just one choice. That system is so fake. I walked slowly, eyes lowered cautiously, up to Isabella, and took her hand. I'll go right away. Don't be angry, Isabella. As long as I can be by your side, I'll do anything. Right then, Michael Vance, who'd been my childhood friend since forever, walked by. Ha! A simpering bootlicker. I turned on the faucet and dumped all the fruit into the basin. As I was washing, the campus queen, Emily Hayes suddenly appeared behind me and tapped my shoulder. Lucas, you're the actual owner of this mansion. Why do you obey Isabella like that? Working yourself to death for her. I turned. Emily, there's a kind of love called sacrifice. You wouldn't understand. Emily snatched the apple from my hand. I don't understand? Then go ask around and see what everyone else thinks of you. They all say you're a suck-up who'll end up with nothing. Is that really true? It feels like it might be. For Isabella, I gave her my luxury car and woke up early every day to prepare her breakfast. Because she couldn't stand the cafeteria food, I'd run home every lunchtime just to bring her a meal. Everyone at school thinks I'm head over heels for her. All of this is just to complete the system task. I stood up, looking at Emily, who had been my friend since we were kids. I knew she liked me, but for the sake of the system mission, I had to reject her kindness. I gently took the apple back from Emily's hand. Emily, true love requires no reward. What you call sacrifice with an agenda isn't love. I bent down to continue washing the fruit. Unexpectedly, Emily crouched down to grab the basin holding the fruit and dumped it all out. Wash, what are you washing? Come with me now. I'm taking you out to actually enjoy the life of the rich. With that, she grabbed me and tried to pull me away. However, Isabella, alerted by the noise, quickly emerged from the mansion and blocked our path. She pointed a finger at Emily's nose. Emily Hayes, have you no shame coming into my house to steal my servant? Emily immediately shot back. Servant? You call him a servant? If it weren't for Lucas, you'd still be picking through trash in the slums, living this privileged life right now. Isabella glanced sideways at her friend. Chloe, all 5'9" of her, strode over with her long legs. She pulled me and Emily apart, glaring fiercely at Emily. Isabella walked up to me. Lucas, get back inside this instant. You're not allowed out without my command. Ding. Plot scenario 98, scene 2, has appeared. Host, please make a choice. Choice 1. Reply, I'll go back right away. Isabella, please don't be angry. Reward, $3 million. Choice 2. Hurl a harsh refusal at Isabella Reed. Reward, zeroed out, plus 3 minutes of physical electroshock therapy. I quickly grabbed Isabella's hand, holding it tight. Isabella, don't worry, I'm going back now. Please don't be angry. Then, I turned to Emily. Emily, you should go back. I'm sorry, Empress Emily, but today I am not myself. Once I finish the system tasks, if fate allows, we will meet again. Turning back again, I immediately ran into the mansion. The moment I stepped inside, I saw Isabella's male best friend, Alex Min, playing with her favorite little toy, a small teddy bear she often slept with. Alex looked up at me. Lucas, you're a servant, not working. What are you standing around for? I'm out of my usual wine. Go get me a bottle of 82 Lafayette now. I simply gave him the middle finger. A pathetic loser like him dares to bark orders at me. If it weren't for the system, I would have already thrown you out of here. Alex jumped up from the sofa in a rage, about to toss the bear onto the couch, when Isabella suddenly walked in. He immediately hugged the bear and walked over to Isabella. Isabella, I've been waiting forever for you. Isabella cooed a couple of reassurances, then turned to me. Lucas, go wait for me in the room upstairs. Hearing this, I immediately went to the second floor. Pushing the door open, the once grand and clean room was now covered entirely in pink. Soon after, I heard Isabella's footsteps outside the door. She walked up to me and roughly shoved me onto the bed. Lucas, I know you feel wronged, but for us to have a good future, I need you to turn over all your money for me to manage. With that, she picked up a property donation agreement from the bedside table. I opened it, and my eyes, which had seen so much in this fake life, widened in shock. Only an absolute idiot would sign this. Ding. Plot scenario 98, scene 3, has appeared. Host, please make a choice. Choice 1. Reply, my money is your money. Sign the agreement. Reward, $3 million. Choice 2. Hurl a harsh refusal at Isabella Reed. Reward, zeroed out, plus physical separation of the host's little brother. What the hell? I got up and looked intently at Isabella. Isabella, my money is your money. Once we get married, I'll transfer everything to you immediately. With that, I swiftly signed the agreement, specifically noting that it only took effect after we were married. Isabella clenched her small fists but took the agreement anyway. She shook her head and walked to the window, pulling back the curtain. Okay, my birthday party is about to start. For your own safety, you need to stay in this room. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Closing the door, Isabella quickly headed downstairs. Bright moonlight spilled across the window. Downstairs, people were mingling and dancing. Alex Min was even engaged in a Latin dance with Isabella. Thinking of my girlfriend back in the real world, I instinctively opened the system interface. Host accumulated bonus funds. $930 million. With this money, when I get back to reality, I can give my girlfriend the biggest surprise ever. As I was sighing contentedly, a noise suddenly came from outside the door. Richard, this is Isabella's room. Shouldn't we not go in? What's there to be afraid of? She's dancing with that dog man. She won't even notice us. Crash. The door was kicked open by Richard. I hid by the window, using the curtain to conceal myself. No. The sounds of passionate struggle continued for a long time until another voice echoed from outside the door. Brother Huang, you're drunk. This is Isabella Reed's room. I'm not drunk. I'm absolutely going into her room with you. Thud. The two pushed the door open, and a wave of stale alcohol washed into the room. But before either of them could react, a thick comforter fell from above, covering both of their heads. A dark hand yanked them down. Who is it? The bastard stepping on me. Marcus Huang got up and quickly hit the light switch. However, all he saw when he looked up was me, standing by the window. Lucas, you dare ambush me? If I don't beat your teeth in today, my name isn't Huang. I looked at the thick, gooey liquid on his head and immediately dodged, grabbing his shoulder and pinning him down. Too much to drink. Go to sleep properly. Marcus struggled to stand up, but found he couldn't move no matter how hard he tried. At that moment, more rustling footsteps approached from outside the door. Isabella entered the room first. Seeing Marcus Huang pinned on the floor, being ruthlessly beaten by me, she immediately rushed over and pulled me away. Lucas, are you sick in the head? They're all my guests. How dare you lay a hand on them? I stood my ground. Ding. Plot scenario 98, scene 4, has appeared. Host, please make a choice. Choice 1. Reply. Isabella, I just can't stand seeing them hold your hand. You promised only I could hold your hand. Slap every man present. Reward, $10 million. Choice 2. Remain frozen in place. Reward, zeroed out plus 10 minutes of physical electroshock therapy. The system is getting aggressive. I stepped behind Isabella in one stride, counting the dozen-plus men she was with, the slaps echoing nonstop. Strangely enough, none of the dozen men managed to stop my hand. Stop it! Just as I was about to slap Richard, Isabella hastily shouted. Richard, who had been hiding at the back, immediately pushed both his hands forward, walked to Isabella, and tried to stand in front of her. But haste makes waste, especially after he'd just been in a scuffle. His footing slipped, and Richard fell hard right in front of Isabella. I seized the opportunity, lunged forward, grabbed him, and delivered a hard slap. Isabella rushed over and shoved me away. Stop hitting him. Isn't all this because you want me to marry you? Fine, I agree. The word stunned everyone present. Jenny and Chloe immediately rushed forward to pull her back. Isabella, don't be rash. Marriage is for life. Lucas is a pauper. What right does he have to marry you? I couldn't help but snicker inwardly. Me, the heir to a multi-billion-dollar fortune, marrying the daughter of a housekeeper, and everyone still thinks I'm the one marrying up. If it weren't for the system, I would have thrown her out of the house ages ago and found a dozen beauties just as gorgeous as her to enjoy the sea breeze with. Jenny puffed out her chest. Isabella, look how sleazy his smile is. How could a flower like you settle for a piece of manure like him? Sleazy. Everything you guys just did, I saw it all. I took 2 steps over to the now sleeping Marcus Huang, dragged him over, and pointed at the sticky fluid on his head. Hiding behind the curtain, I witnessed 2 great battles just now. The female lead in both was only one person, her. Everyone followed the direction of my finger. Jenny shrieked and quickly hid behind Isabella. Isabella turned. Jenny, don't be scared. If he dares to speak nonsense, I won't let him off lightly. Jenny sounded like she had heard a secret and immediately stepped forward. Lucas, you're slandering me. Believe it or not, I'll sue you for defamation. I pulled out my phone. I filmed you entering the room twice just now. Jenny panicked. What twice? I only came in once. She instantly clamped her hand over her mouth. Isabella stared at her friend, astonished. The birthday party ended quietly like that, before anyone's hidden secrets could fully unravel. That night, Isabella started calling wedding planners and set her marriage date for 3 days later. I walked down to the servants' quarters and slept until the next afternoon. As I was getting up to find some food, my phone rang. Lucas, your precious darling is in my hands right now. If you want her to live, come alone to this address. The caller hung up, sending me a location pin. Ding. Plot scenario 99 is triggered. Host, please make a choice. Choice 1. Immediately follow the phone's address to rescue Isabella Reed. Reward, $50 million. Choice 2. Abandon the rescue of Isabella Reed. Reward. Zeroed out, and immediately return the original host body to the original world. I made it through 98 plot scenarios. I'm not stopping for this one. I immediately went downstairs, started a car, and headed toward an abandoned logging yard on the edge of the city. The second I stepped out of the car, a young man wearing black nylon stockings walked toward me. He led me into an abandoned factory building. As soon as I got to the second floor, I saw Isabella tied tightly to a chair, a black stocking stuffed in her mouth. A masked man clapped his hands and walked up to me. They all say Lucas is the #1 bootlicker. Seeing you today confirms it. The rumors are true. I shoved his hand away. Enough with the nonsense. State your terms and release her. What else could they want besides my billions? I'll give it to them. The masked man turned to Isabella, dragging his fingernail across her face. Since Brother Lucas is so straightforward, I'll get to the point. He turned, pulled out a laptop from a box behind him, walked over to me, and opened the computer, highlighting 3 specific stocks. These are 3 stocks under my company. If you put all the billions your parents left you into buying them, I'll let both of you go home, and you can consummate your marriage. I look surprised. Given the system, I could deal with handing over billions. But you're supposedly a normal person. How could you come up with such a trade? However, in the few seconds I stood there stunned, another woman, whose figure was also very well developed and strongly resembled Jenny's, walked up to Isabella. She grabbed her tightly. Now, buy the stocks immediately, or don't blame me for not showing mercy. Isabella's expression looked solemn, but her legs, parted on the chair, showed no sign of tension. She looked at me. Lucas, you should leave. Don't spend any more money on me. I immediately put on an extremely panicked expression and raised my hand to stop them. No, wait. I'll transfer it now. Just don't hurt Isabella. I entered the login password, and in less than 3 minutes, I bought into every single one of the billions left by my parents. However, the moment the money was successfully transferred, the masked man suddenly ripped off his mask. Alexman walked up to Isabella and untied her ropes. Isabella, I told you we didn't need to marry him. Look, the money is in our hands now. Isabella's face looked pale, like wax, her expression somewhat blank. Jenny also pulled off her mask and walked up to me in a few steps. Dare to make me look foolish? If you're ever hungry in the future, remember to come home, and your big sister will toss you some leftovers. The group laughed and walked out of the abandoned factory. As night fell, I walked aimlessly down the street. Suddenly, the system's voice rang out again. Ding! Plot scenario 100 is triggered. Host, please make a choice. Choice 1. Immediately return to the mansion and marry Isabella Reed. Reward, $100 million. Choice 2. Remain where you are. Reward, zeroed out, and immediately return the original host's body to the original world. Finally, the last plot scenario. Once I finish this last thing, I can take the $100 million and return to the real world to live the peak life. But wait, before I transmigrated, this novel hadn't even finished its run. The author only wrote up to the point where the original host went bankrupt, returning to the mansion to get married. Could that put my life in danger? But trusting the system, I slowly made my way back toward the mansion. The moment I reached the entrance, 2 women and an old man were being violently thrown out of the house. Isabella Reed, you didn't really think I'd like a spendthrift like you, someone who spends a bootlicker's money while playing around with other men, did you? And you old hag, did you really think I was a fool like Lucas, willing to treat you like my own mother? Get out, all of you. Isabella and her mother turned around and bumped right into me as I arrived. Alexman saw this and immediately walked up to me smugly. Well, isn't this our great bootlicker Lucas? Too bad this isn't your house anymore. Get lost. I don't keep freeloaders. I took 2 steps forward. I'm here to marry Isabella. Didn't you promise me that if I gave you all the money, you'd let me marry her? Puffed. Alexman looked at me in disbelief, like he was seeing a living saint. He glanced at Jenny and Chloe, then turned back to me. Fine. Today, I'll be generous and help you tie the knot. Alexman pulled out his phone from his pocket and paid a hefty sum to hire a wedding planning company. In less than an hour, a simple wedding stage was set up. When the officiant announced the entrance of the bride and groom, I naturally took Isabella's hand. I heard her low voice say, Lucas, they forced me to do this. I genuinely want to marry you. As she spoke, a hot tear rolled down her cheek. But just as the level of my emotional response hit about 50%, a completely inappropriate voice cut in. Lucas, you must have a few $100 million left in secret savings, right? Damn it, dogs can't change their eating habits. I loved you so much, so of course, I transferred everything. If I had kept secret savings, You wouldn't be happy now that you're about to be kicked out. Right now, my status is 0. I'm a complete pauper. But Isabella, don't worry. As long as we love each other truly and work hard, we'll become billionaires in the future. As soon as I finished speaking, Isabella immediately yanked her hand away from mine. She swiftly ran to the side of the officiant and snatched the microphone from his hand. I, Isabella Reed, can marry a rich scumbag, but I cannot marry a penniless failure. The remark caused the actors Alex Min had hired for the crowd to start whispering amongst themselves. I checked the system, seeing no reaction, so I turned my gaze to Alex Min. In the original text, even though he was a leech who lived off women, he seemed to keep his word. I pointed at Isabella. Mr. Min, you must keep your promise. After hearing this, Alex Min clapped his hands and walked back into the house, emerging with a briefcase containing $5 million. Isabella, if you marry him, this money is my wedding gift to you both. Alex Min tossed the bag onto the floor, and Chloe immediately ran over and hooked her arm through his. Alex, I want to go to South Korea too and get myself a little Jenny. Alex Min shoved her away and fixed his gaze on Isabella on the stage. Isabella had walked back to my side and grabbed my hand again. The wedding continued. After the officiant finished the standard proceedings, the system suddenly popped up a notification. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing 100 plot scenarios. You must make a choice within 1 hour, and the system will unbind. Choice 1. Return to the real world with 100 billion in cash. Choice 2. Remain in this world. System funds will double, returning a total of 1 trillion to the host. Time to unbind. 100 billion versus 1 trillion. A tough choice. I rubbed my head and walked directly toward the audience. Behind me, Isabella was struggling to lift the $5 million briefcase and accidentally fell. She looked at me. Lucas, aren't you going to come help me lift this box? I glanced over, suddenly remembering something critically important. I took a few steps to her side and delivered a hard slap. The whole room gasped. This first slap is for all the times you ordered me around these past few years. Smack. This second slap is for plotting to steal my Luo family fortune. Smack. This third slap is for all the kind people you hurt who truly cared about me. I pulled my hand back and turned to leave, ignoring the strange looks behind me. I hailed a cab straight to the university. Outside the car window, the city lights blurred, and my thoughts drifted back to the past. In 5 years of being trapped in this world, the only person I wronged was Emily Hayes. She and the original host met in kindergarten and spent the best 3 years of their childhood together. But then, due to family issues, she was forced to separate from the original host for 5 years. When she finally returned, I had already replaced the original host, and Isabella was already living in my mansion. I once disobeyed Isabella's orders and secretly visited Emily, but the agonizing physical pain forced me to leave her immediately. Now I was finally free, and it was time to say goodbye to her. Sir, we've arrived. I pushed the car door open and dialed Emily's number. Emily, hearing I was downstairs, immediately ran to her window to confirm and waved at me. I took her to a street food stall outside the campus and ordered a table full of food. Brother Lucas, have you finally come to your senses and decided to leave that little slut, Isabella? I nodded. Not only am I leaving her, but I'm also leaving this city to search for my biological parents. Hearing I was leaving, the food Emily was picking up with her chopsticks dropped onto the table. She seemed to realize something, told me to wait right there, and ran back to school alone. 20 minutes later, Emily reappeared before me, dressed in a stunning, opulent outfit. Her snow-white skin, exquisitely chiseled features, and a figure that rivaled Jenny's. One look, and I knew I wouldn't be leaving tonight. So, I once again made the mistake every man makes and followed Emily into the adjacent hotel. As I pushed the door open, I clicked choice 2 on the system. Tonight was destined to be sleepless. When I woke up, Emily was gone, but a note and a plane ticket lay on the pillow. Lucas, I'm leaving. If you want to find me, come to the capital city. I stared at the ticket and, confirming the system was completely gone, got dressed and left the hotel. On the plane, I began contemplating Emily's true identity. Although the original text described her briefly, I could roughly guess that her family in the capital city was by no means ordinary. However, no matter how complicated her background was, for me, about to become a trillionaire, it wouldn't be a problem. When I got off the plane and walked out of the airport, I found that it wasn't Emily waiting for me outside, but an elderly butler. Young master, you have finally come home. Young master? Could it be that this 1 trillion came from my biological parents? That actually fits the system style. When I followed the old butler to the Luo estate in the capital city, my suspicions were confirmed. It turned out that when I was born, two children were born into the Luo family. One, the heir to the main Luo lineage, and the other, a child from an affiliated branch family. Sure enough, the nurse had mistakenly swapped the two babies. It wasn't until the true Luo heir died yesterday that the family elders discovered an anomaly in his bloodline. After an investigation, they finally found out that I was the true heir to the Luo family. After meeting the family elders one by one, I immediately found the old butler. Mr. Sue, is there a woman named Emily Hayes in the Liu family of the capital city? Butler Sue smiled, covering his mouth. Young master, isn't she your fiancée? How could you forget something like that? After Butler Sue spent 2 hours explaining the situations of the various powerful families in the capital city, I finally knew Emily's whereabouts. Outside the entrance to the Chingcheng Corporation building, I stepped in and approached the receptionist. I'm here to see your CEO, Ms. Liu. Please take me up. The two female receptionists in business suits chuckled. You? You want to see our CEO? Exactly. So many people want to see her. Go wait outside, and after queuing for a few years, maybe you'll get your turn. Following the receptionist's gaze, I noticed the ordinary clothes I was wearing. Ignoring them, I headed straight for the elevator. However, the two immediately called security over. It's him. He looks so cheap, and yet he wants to see the CEO. It's just. Before she could finish, the security guard clapped a hand over her mouth. He hurried toward me. Mr. Luo, the CEO has a private elevator over there. I'll take you. Thank you. The elevator quickly reached the top floor. In a 1,000-square-foot reception hall, Emily was sitting at a computer. As I walked over, preparing to give her a shoulder massage, she suddenly stood up. Why are you here? And coming straight to my office? Are we that close? That line? It felt so familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. I moved closer to her. Emily, let's hurry up and get married. She picked up a tube of lipstick from her desk and applied 2 layers to her lips. She took a couple of steps forward. Get married? Who wants to marry you? Did I ever agree to marry you? This tone, this exact phrasing. I must have said this before. I racked my brain, trying desperately to remember, and finally, it clicked. Back when I first transmigrated and awakened the system, this was the tone the system required me to use. I immediately walked up to Emily and pulled her into a tight hug. Emily, did you also awaken a system? Emily's expression remained calm. Also, so, you're a transmigrator too. I nodded and let go of her. Unexpectedly, she suddenly grabbed me back and pinned me to the floor. Emily, what are you doing? Emily tugged hard on my ear. Lucas Luo, you've gotten awfully bold, abandoning me like that and trying to marry some other beauty. Holy crap, what is the system trying to pull with this woman? Part 2. Mandatory separators.